Look at this video, man. These are shit libs. Bunch of shit lib and a shitty professor. Oh my god. This is Vanguard, Cornel West, all the stuff he's doing. Came out and supporting Novani, Nazi. He gets criticized for it, and he comes out and catches feelings and he lashes out. And the Vanguard is covering it. And he mentioned Jimmy Dore, that's why they're covering it. And these guys are a bunch of, it's all they do, they cover it. They're like Jimmy Dore, I won't say they're fanboys. Jimmy Dore fanboys, they're not. They're the opposite of Jimmy Dore. See, the one time they used to be with Jimmy Dore, they used to be a part of a Jimmy Dore, whatever, his network, and now they left it. Yeah, so they were kissing his ass. They're accusing RBN of doing it. But I'm gonna defend RBN. And these guys, Con West, and these guys are all call them a clown show. And Tim Black, he's kind of I don't know. He's kind of I guess he just made us black politics, but I don't know. He's not too interested. But these guys, this whole thing's a clown show, folks. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna react to this stupidness.
Oh my God, it's almost like they're addicted to this stuff. Why don't you spend time trying to make sure that these brothers are out of jail? I mean, all these black revolutionaries on the radio. It look like so many of them on Jimmy Dore plantation, but we won't get in all of that right now. I said, why don't you spend time making sure
Jimmy Dore plantation, who would that be? Oh my God.
the movement is free. That's what we've been trying to do for 35, 40 years. Where's your work? Where's your sacrifice?
And by the way, he's talking about the folks over at the Revolutionary Blackout Network, Nick and CJ specifically.
I know Jimmy Dore. I'm not a fan of Jimmy Dore myself, but please.
Specifically, who have just been going super, super hard on Cornel West lately, devoting multiple live streams to attacking him and undermining him and going after basically everything he does at this point. Some of which is fair. Like I said, we talked about the Alexei Navalny tweet. Probably wasn't the best look for Cornel West. He definitely deserved criticism for that. But they've been devoting multiple live streams just to roasting him and going after him for everything at this point, despite the fact that he was going on their show every month just a few months ago. So I do agree with a lot of his criticisms of RBN, and specifically the fact that RBN still, to this day, won't come out here and say F Jimmy Dore, but they'll do 10 live streams saying F Cornel West,
Oh my God. I see Nick said, you're absolutely wrong there, brother. You're absolutely wrong. I watched the stream and Nick said F Jimmy Dore. He called him out, and Rome called out Jimmy Dore. And so whatever it is, they have disagreements with Jimmy Dore, but okay, they're still affiliated with him. And another thing, your numbers, they said you got cut off from Jimmy Dore. These guys announced that. They weren't really cut off, weren't they? They weren't cut off from Jimmy Dore. These guys announced it. And they're still affiliated with him, but they're not really that close ties with him. Anyway, they're still affiliated with him. Not like Do Dissidents is really more part of the Jimmy Dore. But I guess they agree on certain things they will do. I think there's an agreement there. They're not totally cut off from him. See, why would Jimmy Dore, if he completely cut him off? See, these guys need Jimmy Dore. I mean, I think Jimmy Dore needs those guys too. His numbers are probably not as good, maybe. The whole numbers for the left, and the left is, the left media scene is not that, it's kind of down. You guys even mentioned that. So, but he did definitely call out Jimmy Dore. Sabi did too. I saw the stream, so He said F Jimmy Dore. See, he did do that. You guys don't even. You guys don't know. They do more things than you guys, buddy. More things than you guys.
I'm saying, like,
Yeah, this has to come out. I'm sorry. But I have to ask you, Gavin, does it not feel like he's reaping what he sowed? You play with fire, you get burned. How obvious was it to the rest of the political left online that what was going on with the Jimmy Dore show and the RBN and the Dudissidents and the Couch Potato Network and Jackson Hinkle and all of these guys who
Couch
Russell
Potato.
Brand, who like Tucker Carlson's actually really based now. Oh yeah,
Jimmy Dore, he called it Couch Potato. That's what he called these guys Couch Potato Network.
maybe these are the guys
He
that I
called them RBN.
should be building my lefty insurgent campaign around. Like, dude, I'm sorry, be mad. That was a mistake by you. You were the ones that you were the one that was like, oh yeah, this guy seems trustworthy. Oh yeah, this guy seems like he's doing great work. What the fuck were you looking at? You were like, you bought up exactly what you want to call out Jimmy Dore. Hey, Cornell, who introduced you to Nick Branda, the guy that you thought should run your fucking campaign? Like, he takes no responsibility for fuck all, man. That's not presidential. All he's doing is throwing money.
Now they're cutting up Cornel West too. Well, rightfully so. But these guys are totally. But I made a video of him before. He's totally not a revolutionary as he said he is. He's comes out. This guy comes out as like a fraud. Sorry, folks. You know, he's a professor, but an academic, PMC class, professor at Harvard, and well, not Harvard. Not Harvard anymore. I don't know. Like I think they kicked him out of Harvard. I wonder why. But anyways, yeah, esteemed famous professor and activist. So we could stick to activism. I mean, stick to so-called activism instead of politics. But is he really just a well, he gives speeches and such, I guess. So he does and writes books. So he has certain theories. But is he really a revolutionary? He proclaimed to be a revolutionary in that sense. The so-called leftists, which this guy praises fascists. I mean, yeah, go on, folks.
About it, everybody else. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like a fucking dude in Kansas City that doesn't even make a splash in local politics at all. And I'm not talking about myself, though that would also describe me. I'm sorry, that guy can't be at the top of your mind when you're running for president. You know what I mean? Like, Nick is irrelevant in Kansas City. Wait, like, you know what I mean? Just like I'm irrelevant in Kansas City. I don't like, they're gonna get on the phone. Quentin Lucas blocked me on Twitter. We don't have fuck all to say. Every time we try and ratio somebody locally, they just block us on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So you take a guy like RBN and you're like, oh yeah, man. Oh, like, what are you talking about, dude? These were the people that you were getting all your talking points from like 6 months ago. Where is your critical assessment of their media fucking fraudulence before you decide to get in bed with them?
Oh, dude,
Fraudulent. Oh my God.
100% correct. And we could have told Dr. West that from the beginning.
We did on air.
Yeah, we did. And maybe if he'd surrounded himself with people other than yes men, that would have become obvious. But yeah, I mean, obviously those guys were going to turn on him as soon as it was convenient, as soon as it would have resulted in a few more clicks and a few extra dollar signs.
Oh, you guys are jokers, man. Too much dollar signs, too much clicks. What are you guys? You have 30 subscribers. How much do they have? They have about maybe same as you, or maybe more. And they're not doing it for the dollars. Aren't you guys doing it for the dollars too? And clicks? I mean,
fuck, they have no loyalty whatsoever. Literally, there's no one other than Jimmy Dore they won't happily and proudly burn the bridge for the sake of
Oh
like
my
10
God.
extra viewers.
yeah, it's not even true, folks. I mean, they call out Jimmy Dore once again. They call out Jimmy Dore, and the reason why they're losing, uh, they're being shadow banned right now for their the thing on Gaza, shadow banned by YouTube. So YouTube's really striking them down. But these guys think it's because of Jimmy Dore. Cut them off. So he didn't cut them off. That proves it there. He didn't cut totally. They're still affiliated with them. But because they're being shadow banned by YouTube. So that's why their numbers are down. But the numbers are comparable to you guys. I mean, it's not even better. I mean, these guys are like, they have good content, RBN, and they're informative, and they do actual news. He writes articles. Nick does. They do actual news. They inform their audience. But you guys just do shitty stuff and attack other liberals. So what do you guys? You guys are the entertainment, though. I like your entertainment, but you're not really informative. You're just bullshit. So
100%.
Your reflection. What kind of hits are you taking? What kind of burdens are you bearing? Or what are you doing? Are you just playing a game? Well, you see, that's it's sad, man. It's a sad thing. That doesn't mean that they're demons. It just means that I just hope and wish that they reach a point in their lives where they get beyond the little pettiness and actually become substantive, genuine revolutionaries, loving the people, focusing on the people in such a way that they are the fundamental.
Up until maybe, we could reduce it to weeks ago, Jimmy Dore had a pinned praising message from Cornel West about how he was the fighter, about how he was the crusader, about how he was speaking truth to power, that he was doing what corporate media would not. What it sounds like, bro? Again, I'm like, this is embarrassing for him, guys. It's kind of humiliating. It shows that the left is in a bad way right now, electorally. He's just mad that they're not supporting him the way that he wants them to. It wasn't really about, oh, you're not advocating about the freedom of Mumia Abu Jamal enough. You're not arguing for the liberation of Leonard Peltier enough. It wasn't weeks ago when, months and months, you've gone on the show multiple times when it was all clear as day to everybody else what he was up to. This is after COVID, when he lied and spread all kinds of conspiracies and how he was really skeptical about these vaccines, but not hydroxychloroquine, which, if you guys don't know, I'm a bartender, so I know how fucking dumb his
talking about
this was.
COVID.
That's the shit that's in tonic water. Quinine, they used to try and use it to treat fucking malaria back in the day. But guess what? Doesn't treat fucking COVID. And anybody who's not a fucking moron could have told you that. But that wasn't enough for the straw to break the camel's back.
Mention COVID, folks. I'm not gonna go into COVID. We all know that all those what he talked about there is no cure at all, and the vaccine's fine, folks. The vaccine's fine. But anyways,
with Cornel West support, nah, whatever. We can agree to be different. Jimmy's a fighter. He's a truth teller, even though that predominantly impacted the poorest among us. COVID-19 predominantly massacred the poorest among us, and the anti-vax was most susceptible to people who were,
yeah, I guess Jimmy Dore spread a lot of false claims on that. They said he has a doctor on, so, but he's not really true. Because Dore said he said the vaccine wasn't. Recently, he said the vaccine was good, actually. Recently, but he was saying that what the claims. He said they didn't tell the whole truth. That's what he said. According to him, I saw one of his clips. But he did say he said the vaccine was good. I mean, it works. He even took the vaccine, so not totally. Like, he's not totally against the vaccine. I mean, so he kind of not really. Although he has a lot of untruth, but he said the vaccine works. So
for legitimate reasons, already skeptical of the United States. So Jimmy did a fucking horrible thing there. Dr. West has no problem with it. No problem with it. He basically makes the case for Putin base. Blah blah blah. Tucker Carlson base. That's not the final straw for Cornel
what?
West, even though he knows how evil those people are. Right? He's like,
Putin
oh well,
base.
Jimmy and I have a different perspective on that. The hard line in the sand when he's willing to say, fuck it all, I'm burning it down, is because they didn't support his presidential campaign the way he.
What he's talking about? Putin base? What the hell are you talking about, buddy? You mean he's Russia? He's pro-Russia? That's what you're trying to say? I mean, but he attacked Putin. I mean, Mr. West.
True.
That's all that it burns down to.
So true. Yeah, 100%. He said. I mean,
This is pure garbage.
it always is up for debate.
This is pure garbage, folks.
In my opinion, like how much Cornel West has been paying attention.
But you're right. He's kind of a fraud. He's telling that they're saying that he's a fraud in a way. So I have to agree with them that he's stuff that he's kind of a fraud, Mr. West.
To all this stuff, like that's the conversation we had around the People's Party, for example. Is like I really hope Cornel West was actually ignorant to some of this information before he agreed to associate with this like known grifting predator, this alleged rapist Nick Brana. Because if it wasn't ignorance, yeah, it basically seems like he was just willing to put all that
This
aside.
guy's a known predator. Oh, it's terrible there, folks. Yeah, that's bad there. I don't know. That's terrible.
And same with all of those very valid criticisms you've made of Jimmy Dore and his orbiters, people like Nick and CJ on RBN, who of course just regurgitate whatever garbage that Jimmy wants them to from the.
Come on, guys. You know that's not true. Oh my God, that's not even true, folks. I mean, maybe when they were in the beginning they did do that, I guess. But now recently, the more they've gone away from Jimmy Dore. I mean, they have disagreements with him. They affiliated with him. They explained it that they have arguments. They have to sit down with Jimmy Dore, and they have disagreements with him. But that in the beginning, that was, you could say, yeah, they did this same topics. They kind of they're like they wouldn't criticize Donald Trump, especially Nick. But now Nick's criticizing Donald Trump more, and the right wing. They only criticize the left, but now they criticize, and Tucker Carlson. They wouldn't criticize Tucker Carlson on Fox News when I first started watching RBN, but now they're doing it more. And the MAGA, they're going out against the MAGA, Nick. He attacks the MAGA crowd. So you never do that now. He didn't even do that back then. So now he's doing it more. So they've gone away from that. So then they've gone away from... See, the God, he's saying they're not courting their audience. Maybe they used to be. Now they're gone away from that. But they're losing numbers anyways. Why not? I mean, do what you believe in, I guess. I mean, you look at it now. So now they're criticizing Trump more. Before they even hardly criticized Trump. So you're wrong about that, buddy. Come on. You guys should watch the show sometime.
Stuff to the Putin
Watch the damn show sometime.
and stuff. And yeah, none of it is in line with Dr. West's values, but he didn't seem to have an issue with any of it until they turned on him, until they started making content going after him. They didn't have a problem with them smearing a bunch of other, lefty allies and comrades. And so I do have to wonder how much Cornel West is aware of all that stuff. Obviously, he's a busy guy. He probably doesn't watch as
Who
much
do they
YouTube
smear?
as
I
us,
wonder who did.
so he might not be aware.
Or they smear these other black groups. They're false, the so-called allies, not really ally. This other group, they smear the black group. They do black issues actually instead of we call them out. They're not really leftists. They're like they're more like Democrats. He called them. I forgot the name of the group. They called out.
of all of the ins and outs of the drama
But
between.
you think he has to do his homework, dude? He
I
tried
know.
to build this whole campaign around these people, and now he wants to admonish them about not being serious revolutionaries. I'm sorry. What does that make you, pal? These were the recruits that you called right from jump. These were the guys that you said, hey, man, let's get the band back
He's not a revolutionary, buddy.
together and let's run for office. And we said, oh,
I mean,
we love you, Dr. West.
he had an argument with Sister Soldier, and I have that clip, and she really called him out. I mean, back in the day.
And a lot of people said, listen, man, you have a great legacy, and boy, would we love to get our hands on that for the left to move the ball forward, at least in terms of rhetoric right now. Overton Window's not doing great. Let's go ahead and shove it a little bit. We love that for you, but you gotta go with the green part, because those are the serious people and not the online dirtbag idiots that will just throw you to the wolves so that they can get clicks from right-wingers who wanted to see you fail anyways. Did not listen to us. He instead said, I'm going to run as an independent so that these people cannot reach me. He's now, going on his, he's actually, excuse me, he founded his own Justice for All party. We've lamented on their graphic design skills, but it's about par for the course with their political acumen at this moment. And now he's doing the whole it's everybody's fault but mine tour. I mean, this campaign's all but over now. This campaign is all but over. And as soon as anybody takes this guy seriously, they'll just start pulling up all the footage of him bitching and moaning. It's so unpresidential.
Focus of your work, not these little buzzes that go round and around. It's all about market. It's all about money. It's all about Tucker Carlson got 200 million, so he's the big man. No, Tucker is still a white supremacist who conforms to their sensibility. I don't care how many he has on his podcast. But if it's just about size, and here Paul Street, who I have such great respect for, he made the point with tremendous power. He said, I thought independent media was going to be independent. No, independent media too often, there's some good, but too often, they just trying to make money too. And they going with the big money, they going with the big markets, they going with those who have the most eyeballs. Where's the integrity? And then you're going to attack other people's integrity.
And again, those were all fair criticisms, but you did take money from Harlan Crow, dude. Can you really go after other people's integrity as far as the way they make money and the way they conduct business when you're...
So he's talking Tucker Carlson. I think because he interviewed Putin, I think. That's what he's talking about. And he's talking about that. And yeah, sure, he's kind of a white supremacist. He's a terrible. He's not a good guy. He's not really a journalist, Tucker. Yeah, and he uses he's kind of a fascist and racist tendencies. But he did interview Putin. That was a good thing, though. And yeah, and they're right. He took money from this donor as a Nazi memorabilia. I mean, so it's really like a Nazi. He took money from Mr. West. So, donation. But I think he bought it. He gave the money back, I think.
Taking money from a right-wing billionaire with a Nazi art collection in order to fund your very unserious campaign. Again, I agree with your criticism. I think you're 100% on point, but you've kind of sacrificed some of the moral high ground in making these arguments, just given the way you run your own campaign, who you've associated with from Nick Brana.
I said only some of the moral high ground? Only some of it? Again, I point out the fact that he wants to take shots at Jimmy Dore right now and the people who have fallen under Tucker Carlson's spell. Those are the people you hired to launch your presidential campaign 6 months ago. I don't want to hear it. You did no homework. There was anybody with eyes could tell you that Jimmy Dore was going down the white supremacist rabbit hole.
Please, it's a sad situation. I said,
No,
let me talk to my brother Tim, just to be able to reflect.
He's not a white supremacist, I would say. He's like a kind of a bigot. He's a local bigot. I mean, your local bigot down the street. That's what Dore is. That's what.
I do stand corrected if I'm wrong. I acknowledge that. But I tell you one thing too, that's when folks start coming at your loved ones, I get very upset.
Wow.
Very upset.
They came out as
Well, Dr. West, I'm glad you were able to express how you really feel, brother, because that's important for you to keep it real with the audience. Let them know.
that's what they did. They came after his wife or something. Criticized his wife, I think. Wow. There's something with his wife.
I just
Can we
want
pause it really
to
quick?
thank you for choosing this platform to have this conversation.
I'm really excited to hear some pushback from Tim Black because there's a lot to flesh out there. I'm really excited for him to ask for some receipts, for some follow up. I'm super excited. I know I've had a great conversation with Tim Black. He's a serious fucking guy. I'm super stoked for him to say,
Yeah.
you sure presented a lot of information there.
He just looked serious on this interview, buddy. He didn't just let him talk. He didn't push back at all. And what's he talking about? Protect his family members. Somebody said maybe his wife. I heard that maybe his wife. Somebody was mentioning that maybe on RBN. They mentioned his wife, I think. Maybe Sabi. Something with his wife.
I want to start to unpack all of it. Now, you mentioned that you've been, you had your trust violated by Jill Stein. Could you talk a little bit about the impetus for that, or how about the aspersions you made towards Peter Dow, or channels you've once roundly celebrated and only very recently have changed your tune on, like the Jimmy Dore show, which you gave lavish praise to for years and years.
Continue to legitimize after many credible people were trying to sound the alarm. Yeah.
So I'm sure Tim will ask him about all that.
Sure, brother. Only thing I really want to ask, to open it up, I want to say, do you support Nazis and white supremacists? And I know that's crazy to ask that question. I almost can't get it past my teeth, right?
So now we know why he went on the Tim Black show. Now we know why he went on the Tim Black show. Sorry, Tim, you didn't ask him a single fucking tough question. Oh, do you hate that? Let's invite him on for a game of wiffle ball where we'll fall.
Boy, I'll give it. You guys are right. They're right about that, folks. Like he didn't do anything. I mean, you didn't ask the right questions. I mean, that's the problem.
Praise him, the guy that has no chance of winning the presidential election. Let him besmirch other hardworking leftists, and then let him get off scot-free. No pushback. That sounds great. I'm sure he'll come back on a lot of times.
Putin's plantation, say it. If you're going to be on Iran's plantation, then say it. If you're going to be on Putin's plantation, say it. We're already critical of those who's on Biden's plantation. We're critical of those who's on Apex plantation. But get off the plantation. The aim is not to get off one plantation and get on another plantation. Get off Jimmy Dore's plantation.
Jimmy Dore. And who's on your plantation, brother? You mean get off the Vanguard, Tim Black's plantation? How about that? Man, you listen to these other dudes. I don't know. I mean, it's not about Jimmy Dore. I mean, so Jimmy Dore criticized him, right? Big deal. Jimmy Dore's an idiot. So I know he's getting upset with Jimmy Dore. I mean, because of RBN, I guess that's where he gets. I think that's where you really catch feelings with RBN, and he's criticizing Nazis. I mean, he's being praises to Nazis. That's why he's catching feelings, folks. I mean, Jimmy Dore. I mean, these guys more. It's all a clown show, man. These guys they're just totally clown show. And Tim Black, I thought I respect him, but I don't know. He's kind of a clown show now. Now that I think about it, he's not serious. Not serious. So-called leftists. You guys are a joke. Real leftists, man. I mean, the American left is,
disrespecting a black man? Can you say it on your show? No, they can't say it on their show. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I see.
Well, without Jimmy Dore, nobody would know who these people are.
That's true. And what the fuck did we say when he went on Jimmy Dore show? We said this is appalling. We had one of the former
without Jimmy Dore, and you guys too. We could say about you guys too without Jimmy Dore, because you guys started with Jimmy Dore, didn't you? Well, Jimmy Dore, you're on the plantation, so that helped you guys out too.
Used to make the Jimmy Dore show.
And Tim Black was on it too. He used to be affiliated with Jimmy Dore. So all you guys are with Jimmy Dore. I mean, these fools are one time associated with Jimmy Dore. I mean, So I mean, kind of hypocritical, but
believe it once was. It was. We had Ron Placone on here, and he said that it was I can't remember his direct quote. It's humiliating, embarrassing. It was something bad. He said it felt terrible. I believe he was very uncomfortable with how it went down because it was so obviously like the racial tone was bad. Like he didn't have any respect for this guy. It was big like Skip Bayless, like white guy energy talking to. Yeah, I was like, oh, I hate this. You know what I mean? That's the energy he gave off, and he was like super caustic and shitty,
yeah.
and there's a way that you challenge somebody like Cornel West, you know, something that we were desperate for Tim Black to do, but he didn't.
Yeah, he's gonna. Jimmy Dore is a bigot, so we know that. So, I mean,
and there's a way that you're like a huge dickhead. Jimmy was a huge dickhead. We made a whole video about it, talking about how, of course, RBN's not going to say anything about it because they, you know, they have to eat from that trough, basically, at the end of the day. And when they have bickered, guys, they've bickered on the fringes, on the margins, and it's already taken a huge bite out of their channel. If you go look at RBN now, they don't do as well as they used to. That's why Savvy's branched off to do more of her own.
oh my God. Not because of that, buddy. I think they've been shadow banned by YouTube. Not because of Jimmy Dore. And they did call. They were wrong. They called out. They would call out Jimmy Dore on air. I mean, Nick called him out. So there's more reason than not because of Jimmy Dore. So why did he cut them off then? I mean, he just cut them off. They don't need these guys. If he really okay, he warned them. He kind of warned them. The disagreements, but then they settled their differences, I guess, and then but I guess they agree to disagree in certain topics, but they're not feeding off him. I don't think they're feeding off like before. It's kind of different. And you guys don't know that. I'm defending these guys about RBN.
Without Jimmy Dore, nobody would know who these people are. And every couple months, they got to have them come on just so people remember that they even exist. So that goes for the whole lot.
Unfortunately, what Tim Black is leaving out is that it's not just thanks to Jimmy Dore that they've been legitimized. It's also thanks to Cornel West. He gets none of the blame for elevating these absolute fools, these absolute morons who Zach and I, we're not fucking Cornel West, and we did tell you guys, 2 years ago.
Oh, because of Cornel West. Oh God. Hey,
now that these people were fucking snakes in the grass.
Let me say this.
Serious.
Let me say this, Gavin, because I'm going to give you some props. In the early stages of the Vanguard, I was incredibly caustic. I didn't fuck with anybody besides our show. I would just smited any other channel for success for the Vanguard. I'll be real. We find this show called Savvy Stabs. She has like less than 1,000 subscribers, but Gavin likes what she has to say. And we can tell that she's still falling for the trap where you pay these like bullshit companies to promote your video when really you just get like 1,000 bot watches from like Venezuela on a map. And if you do it for too long, then they'll flag your YouTube channel and you won't be able to grow. That's what Savvy was doing when Gavin and I first came across her content. I want everybody to know how long we've been in this game, okay? We've been about it all before everybody else, okay? So for Savvy to act like, oh, these guys are just fucking hateful towards me. No, fuck that. We gave her every fucking chance. Gavin's like, do you want to have this lady on? It'd be cool to like give her the leg up. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know. I like just doing the show together. We sometimes, we already have a couple of other people that come on the show, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, it'll be cool. I told her she can come on. I'm like, all right, but we have a good conversation with Savvy. Over the next couple of years, she joins the Revolutionary Blackout Network. We had another homie, Kamali Bros. He joined the Revolutionary Blackout Network for like 30 seconds before he was like, oh, this is a fucking hoax, folks. I'm getting the far shit from here. I actually care about black liberation, right? So we watched that whole thing unravel. We used to have Nick on our show, right? We used to like, we've had.
Oh yeah, my God. Yeah. Wow. Interesting what he's saying about bots and stuff. And whether that's true or not, what he's saying, folks. I don't know. We have to look into that. Apparently, yeah, she had a show before RBN. I guess he joined them. But these guys are, but I like RBN because they're informative and they actually do news and they try to do. They're not part of Jimmy Dore. I mean, they associate with him. So what? I mean, it's not like but they called him out and they disagree on certain stuff. That's all. I think now he's calling out. They changed. They never used to call out the right wing. Actually, now they do. They only call out the leftists and the right. I mean, leftists and they never call out the right, but now they call out the right wing. So these guys are wrong, folks. I mean, I can see what they compare their content to these guys do. They do serious work. I mean, like serious journalism. Some stuff I don't know. I learned from those guys actually. So they call these guys and they do community work. I mean, I can respect those guys. You guys just do bunch of shit, bunch of so-called liberals, shit liberals. These guys are. That's what these guys are. The Vanguard. Bunch of shit libs. I mean, I watch these for entertainment. They don't do anything like news. I watch these guys for entertainment. It's laugh. These guys are a joke. I don't watch it for news. And like RBN and some other channels. Even the Turks, the Young Turks, they do news. I mean, it's interesting stuff. They do interviews. These guys do interviews though, I must say. So that's okay. Interview other leftists or activists. They do. These guys sometimes, but even the Turks, they do news. But often now they get it wrong, not accurate actually. But they do news, and what's it? Turks and then a Majority Report. They do such stuff, good stuff. Sometimes to do news, and they have on people, and they do debates too. I mean, but these guys they just attack other leftists and make fun of leftists. I mean, I think these guys are the worst, at least of the other channels. The other channels, even the so-called white liberal channels, the TYT, what they call them, the NATO left, the PMC class channels. They say these guys are. They do. These guys are the least, anyways. The other ones they do good content, the news content. They bring people on news from the media, actually independent media. They bring on journalists and they interview them. So they do serious, but these guys don't do any serious work. The least of it. The all time they do that. They just do reaction to other leftists or whatever, the right wing. But they dunk on other leftists too. Yeah, but they're not really. Yeah, they think it's right. They're not really serious. I mean,
many members of the RBN crew on our show, right? We were like, it was part of our nebulous, right? But then they slowly but surely were never able to build a backbone and stand up to Jimmy Dore after he obviously left the left, right? After he started to play us all. And that was when the bridge burned. And then one time I think I went on there and we said something about how like Saudi, knows where her bread is buttered. She blocked us on Twitter and never hits up again. I'm like, well,
Jimmy Dore is a left. He's left the left, or he's just shit lib. He's just a moderate Democrat. Seems like he's not really a left. You guys aren't really leftists, per se. I mean, was he ever a leftist? No.
I got so mad that we were just like honest.
Oh yeah, we knew exactly what she was doing. I was like, bro, it's so obvious if you do this for a living. I know all you have to do is make this topic.
And also, even after her interview with Nick Brana, where she totally revealed that he's a fucking psychopathic predator, she still kept doing the Jimmy Dore dance.
And she did the exact formula that we had. Not that we can bitch about it because it's like, whatever, it's YouTube, this is what people do. But she used to literally wait until we would go live and then steal our fucking headline topics, guys. This is where Savvy was at in her career. People want to act like she's all this like, oh, she's the real serious one from RBN. No, she's not, bro. No, she's not. Yeah. So anyway, we've warned about all
this is true or not. They steal their content. Really, that's what she's saying. He's saying that they steal her content, kind of, or his idea. She steal their idea, like their idea. I mean, the concept, kind of. Their titles and whatever. Like they stole their content. I mean,
all that entire network for a long time. It was publicly available, and this was when Cornel West was lauding them and congratulating them for the real serious work that they were doing, and praising Jimmy Dore for being a truth teller when it was so hard to be a truth teller. Now, it's all coming back. It's all coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, Jimmy Dore he does believe it or not, he does some good work actually. Although he's a Trump shill. That's what that's the only thing about him. And once in a while he does good work. I mean,
100%. We've been warning you guys for 2 years at least now about the real nature of these grifting, leaders,
Grifting.
the fact that they're not serious about
oh
revolutionary
my,
act.
oh, you gotta be kidding! Grifters. Who's calling a grifter, buddy? I wouldn't call them I wouldn't go around throw that word lightly around, buddy, because it might come back against you.
Activism, and that they'll just claim whatever their whatever position makes them the most money is the actual leftist position, whether that's worshiping at the altar of Vladimir Putin, a war criminal, or pretending like
They're shooting for Vladimir Putin. Oh my God! He just pointed out that that Putin. I mean, the West. He's not shilling for Putin. I thought he was too, but he's not. I mean, he's saying that Putin, what they're saying, the West is saying against Putin's not what you think it is. And he's saying that the war is a Ukraine war. That's what he's saying. It's terrible. And you support Nazis. He doesn't want to support Nazis. He explained it. He said Putin's against Nazis. And he's against the Nazis, so he's not going to support them. Not going to support Ukraine. So you rather support Putin than Nazis. But Putin's a bad guy. I don't think he supports Putin. He's just saying that he doesn't want against wars. He's against the Ukraine war. That's why he's talking about Putin. He's saying certain things that Putin. We all know he's a kind of a dictator. Well, I say dictator, I guess. In that sense, I wouldn't say. Well, he's a terrible guy, anyways. I had the guy killed in prison, so. Although he's a Nazi, Navalny. But, wasn't nuance not. So he's a good guy, and Biden's a bad. Putin's a good guy, and Biden's a bad guy. So what Biden's doing now, I mean, you got to be serious. I mean, you guys know that. These guys know that, anyways. They don't really support Putin. They're just making the stuff up. Because you know that he's saying about he disagree with the Ukraine funding. That's why. So he supports. That means he supports Putin. The most. So he call these guys the NATO left. That's what he called these guys. I mean, these guys. That's what he called guys like these, and RBN would call these guys.
Vaccines lead to autism, which is of course an incredibly debunked and ableist myth that is continually.
Autistic people should just be dead.
Yeah.
Let's take care of the ADHDers, the neurodivergents. We want the clean France in America. Nah, fuck Jimmy Dore, not me.
Adam, but Dr. West, back to that body, I gotta ask you, brother.
Yes.
They say he's a Nazi. They say he's a white supremacist. How do you feel about it? What? Like, cause I'm not going to pretend to know much about the guy, other than I know he was jailed.
Way to fortify yourself, Tim.
And I know he
great
died in jail in the penal colony, and we don't know exactly what the circumstances were at the moment. But this is what set it on. You said, okay, this man died, and you said he's a, he died in he was a political prisoner in your eyes. They say he wasn't. If he's a neo-Nazi or white supremacist, do you think he was? And if so, would that at all change your tweet or whatever?
Well, one thing is, though, brother, here's a fascinating conversation to have, that I don't think anybody ought to be falsely accused and murdered by the state based on any ideology they have. I don't think a Klan member ought to be falsely accused and killed by the U.S. I don't believe in just.
The problem is that you should have praised. You put him in the same league as. Put him in the same class of actual prisoners in the U.S. that are they're leftists. They're black activists. So you put them in the same league. That's the problem. But this guy is a Nazi, and you praise him, or it's always wrong. Okay, you could say that I am against what they did to him. Putin is terrible. He's a monster, and he did this to Navalny, and it's terrible. But you shouldn't go out and praise Navalny and say he's this and that. You just leave that alone.
At all. They got rights too. And if they got members of their family, many of them not even clans. So
Can we pause it one more time?
They all them and act as if.
I just want to remind everybody that the goalpost immediately moved and Tim didn't check him on it, right? So, of course, Tim says, well, I don't know what's going on, man. We just had you on the show to talk about this specific issue, but I made sure to do zero homework on it so I couldn't push back on you even if I wanted to. Okay, so we got that established. And now he's going to move the goalpost away from people being mad that you put a neo-Nazi up in the same space as, like, legitimate American fucking political prisoners. And now you're, like, saying, well, should they be killed? Should they be... I don't think we should just kill anybody. And it's like, that's not what people are mad about. Nobody was saying that we shouldn't extrajudicially kill. That's actually the lefty position, Dr. West.
Yeah.
All right, what's not the lefty position is taking an idiot piece of shit that got killed and memorializing him and valorizing him as if he was somebody who is living the same struggle as some of these legendary individuals that, were mentioned.
Wow,
That's what people were frustrated about. So you can't, those people just wanted him fed. Like, that's not the argument anybody made. And it's ridiculous to immediately rush to that to defend your own argument, which is unsound.
If you have absolutely no concern of them, because see, when you start that kind of logic, and we've seen it over and over again, you see, you end up starting to demonize folk you disagree with. Next thing you know, you're demonizing each other. I wonder sometimes, even with people that claim to be together, sooner or later they're going to be at each other's throats, because nobody agrees with everything all the time. The next thing you know,
that's your entire campaign. He's like, I don't trust anybody. They're all going to be out of bro. That's you, pal. That's you, brother.
Start demonizing him.
See, look at this. Let me go back here, folks. Can I go back? Can I go? Let's see what he says here. Okay, let's see. My prayers are with the precious family of the courageous Russian political prisoner of late Alexander Navalny, just as I pray for my dear brothers Mumia, Abu Jamal, oh my God. So Imam Jamil Abdullah Alamin, Nene Pelche, and Sister Nargis Mohammadi, and all other political prisoners in the U.S. and the world. Free all political prisoners under cruel and just system of oppression. Okay, he could have said that. Okay, my prayers are precious family, courageous Russian political prisoners. Okay, and that's all he could say. Well, he should say. But when he says, just as I pray for my dear brothers Mumami, Abdul Jamal, Imam Jamil, and all these other people, you see, he should have stopped here, but he went on to include these guys with a Nazi. These are leftist activists and justice and fighting for justice. This guy is a Nazi. Not the same thing. fighting for a Nazi. This his point. He says they shouldn't be put in jail because of their ideology. Like I understand Russia, they're against Nazism. Maybe they shouldn't be, but maybe that's their laws, right? And there's lots of leftists. So why does he talk about the leftists that are in? See, so-called leftists. Why doesn't he talk about the leftists? I was in the other video I did, who were in Russian jail also. So why doesn't he talk about that? I mean, the prison. Why doesn't he include them in this? I mean, anything else, right? Maybe he doesn't know those names of those people in the Russian jail. I mean, but that should have stopped there, folks. I'm gonna go back, up forward.
Sometimes even with people that claim to be together, sooner or later they're gonna be at each other's throats because nobody agrees with everything all the time. The next thing you know,
That's your entire campaign. He's like, I don't trust anybody. They're all gonna be out of bro. That's you, pal. That's you, brubby.
start demonizing them. Next thing you know, maybe you ought to be eliminated. You wrong just as anybody else. Now, let's be very, very honest about this. Muhammad Abu-Jamal is one of the great intellectuals, great freedom fighters, and spiritual healers.
That's why people
of the
don't
last
want him
50
compared
years.
to a white supremacist.
For those who are deeply concerned about what we didn't like to put together.
Okay, I agree with. He's right about that, folks. I mean, what's his name? Zach's right about that.
Stand at that position and being upset about that. But people who know me and know my depth, the depth of my love and respect for Mumia, I know Mumia himself doesn't believe in just eliminating people based on what they believe and being falsely accused and murdered by the state. That's not Mumia at all. So the folk who
You say he's falsely accused. How do you know that? I mean, what if he's saying that Navalny, oh my God. It's freaking evidence that he's a Nazi. I mean, he said about get rid of all Muslims in Russia. It's most likely he was a Nazi. He still is a Nazi. My God.
claim to be speaking in his name.
These guys are freaking Nazi.
Shame on them. And shame
Great,
on
so
them
positive.
trying to separate me from...
So if I make a eulogy for a political prisoner and I put him up with the likes of Alexei Navalny and like Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden and Qasem Soleimani, and I'm like, these were all men that were killed because the United States opposed what they had to say. It would be like, hey man, that's inappropriate. That's not okay. Like, I don't believe anybody should be killed without fair fucking trial or persecution. Well, it's
Yeah.
not exactly the company that we're trying to project this guy with. I guess
He made a good point. He said, why don't the US does that too? CIA kill people without a trial. How? And the guy was Obama did that, I think, with a drone strike. They killed without a trial. So-called terrorists. They probably are terrorists, but they killed without a trial by the US. So why not? They do the same thing as Russians doing.
really stretch it. We're all brothers and sisters in the human family, but I don't think that's what people want to think about when they think of people who were morally righteous and courageous, and the people that the United States just whacked because yes,
Yep.
they were bad people, but no, they weren't. They shouldn't have been extrajudicially killed. Do you see how that's different? Like, this is the kind of thing
Yep.
that he's trying to like move the goalpost on. He's like trying. Oh, do you believe in extrajudicial killing? No. None of us do, but that wasn't what we were pissed about. That wasn't why we were like, oh, this is obviously in poor taste.
from my brother. The same is true with H. Brown, my brother who's now at Trump. Same is true with Leonard Peltier and so forth. Same is true with the precious sister in Iran. Oh, there's West again defending those figures at the State Department. Bump the State Department. The State Department has its own gangsterism. I'm not determined by them. I make my own decision because I'm a free black man who has a moral sensibility and spiritual sentiments that I learned a long time ago, and I'll never apologize for it, ever. I will always have a moral concern about people who are falsely accused and who are murdered by the state. That is a fundamental bedrock.
Once again, falsely accused. Oh my God. How do you know he's falsely accused? I mean, once again, there's evidence that he's a Nazi, most likely. I mean, come on. Not just the Russian, but the other, like the gray zone. Mate. I mean, he has extremist views. But most likely he's a Nazi. I mean, but you kept saying that. So you don't know that if he's falsely accused or not. Most likely he's a Nazi. And there's some evidence to that. I mean,
view that I have of the world. Of course, I love Mumia more than others because I know we went to prison together. We sang together with James Coleman and Brother Chris Hedges when we went there. Take a bullet for the.
now the other prisoners that he talked about, they probably they're falsely accused. Most likely. I mean, by the U.S. prison. I mean, Mumabi. But they're most likely they're falsely accused. I know Putin has, if he does have prisoners that are probably not who they say they are. I mean, but in this case, this guy is probably he's a Nazi, Muvani, or was a Nazi. Well, he was alive, yeah. Probably was a Nazi, most likely. There's evidence of that.
That's our connection. And so, at that
You know
point, I want to make that very. I think we made.
This is like a clown. This is like I'm gonna end this, folks. This is So these guys are clowns. Even Tim Black, I thought I had respect for him, but now I don't know. I think he's just he's just a clown. They're right. This guy is a clown. So this whole thing is a clown show, folks. You know, they criticized the West, but Jimmy Dore and the RBN. This is all about Jimmy Dore. I mean, they're in Jimmy Dore's in their heads. But they get views attacking Jimmy Dore, so maybe that's why they love that. They're attacking Jimmy Dore. I know that. Like a lot of people doesn't like Jimmy Dore. He's a shithead. I know that, but business. I don't care. I don't watch his content. Anyway, so sometimes I do, but sometimes he's good. Sometimes he's right on certain things, but he's a kind of a bigot and he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. Really doesn't know anything. But he's not that important. But they attack him. I mean, it must be something with Jimmy Dore. I mean, he gets clicks. People follow. They get more clicks when they attack Jimmy Dore, I guess. Anyways, folks, I'm going to end this clown show. This is all a clown show. I'm out.